Well, hello there. It's me, Terri Cole, and welcome to the special Best of December series on the Terri Cole Show. It has been so much fun. So all month long, we've been revisiting the top 5 most loved episodes of all time of the Terri Cole Show, and I'm so excited to take this journey through the greatest hits with you. It really is fun for me. So today we're finishing things off with the most listened to podcast. When my team pulled the numbers and told me that this was our most listened to pod ever listened to, I was honestly surprised. But it goes to show how much the topic resonates with so many of you out there. In this episode, I dive deep into the topic of time boundaries. Yes. Wouldn't you have thought it was something about narcissism or something else? Time boundaries. That was our most listened to podcast episode. So before we jump in, I want to share a new idea about just how important these boundaries are, not only in our relationships with others, but in our relationships with ourselves. Because every time we say yes to squeezing in just one more thing or rushing because we're overscheduled, we're actually saying no to a little bit of our own internal peace. Setting gentle boundaries around time isn't about controlling the clock. It's about making room for things that truly fill us up and letting go of that never enough time feeling, which is so bad for your nervous system. It is so stress-inducing. So if you've ever struggled with feeling rushed, being late, or feeling resentful over how you actually spend your time, this episode is for you. And if you're new here, well, hello and welcome. Be sure to subscribe so that you catch every single episode. All right, let's dive in and explore how we can all together build healthier, more peaceful relationship with time. Here we go. Well, hello there, and welcome to the Terri Cole Show. I am so excited that you're here. I want to start this episode with a question. Are you always late, or are you always early, or are you scheduled on a daily basis within an inch of your life, or does time itself and sort of a discrepancy in relationships to time create conflict in your relationships? If you nodded your head to any one of those things, well then this episode, my friend, is for you. Because in today's episode, I'm breaking down time boundaries, talking about the causes of disordered time boundaries, plus a few things that you can do to have more harmonious relationship with time. So before we get started, if you are new to my channel, please introduce yourself in the comments below because we are a friendly group. Make sure that you right now hit the subscribe button, hit that bell, because every Tuesday I roll out a new episode like this, and every Thursday I roll out an interview with some of my interesting and super smart friends. And I wouldn't want you to miss a thing. If you are new, my name is Terri Cole. I'm a licensed psychotherapist, and I am the author of Boundary Boss right over there, which you can get at boundarybossbook.com. All right, let's move into today's content. Disordered boundaries to time, or disordered time boundaries, whichever way you want to call it, they can wreak havoc in your life. There are a lot of reasons that we have disordered time boundaries. And it's not just being early or being late. It could also be how much you value your time. Are you giving your time to people who you shouldn't be? Are you having no time left for you? Do you overestimate how much you can get done in a day or in an hour? There's lots of different ways that disordered time boundaries can express themselves in your life, and I thought that it would be interesting if we could explore it in this video. This is something that is close to my heart because I'm someone who is always early. When I first met my husband, Victor, I was way more dysfunctional with time, meaning that I was way early, and if I wasn't way early to things, I would get really anxious and angry and upset. Like I really needed, it was definitely a control thing for sure. Vic was someone who was late. I struggled to get out of the house when we're leaving, would run back into the house to get something or do something, and all of that absolutely drove me bonkers. I was like, what is going on? Why is he doing this? And then it would sort of bring out the lowest in me. I'd be sitting in the car. I mean, we live in the middle of nowhere. I'd be sitting in the car in the driveway because we're supposedly going to the gym or wherever we're going. And if he was taking too long, I would start beeping the horn like an aggressive weirdo, like not my finest moment, I can tell you that much, but I would really get so mad about it. It felt really personal in this way that I just couldn't put my finger on why it was so crazy making for me. And then my therapist said, I started talking to her about it, and I was like, listen, this guy, he's amazing. Like, he's literally the best thing that ever happened to me in my entire life. And yet we have this one thing, and it worries me because I don't want to fight about time. I don't want to fight about anything or be angry, because we wouldn't really fight. I would just be pissed and then be withdrawn in anger and then be stonewalling and not talking and then be in an attitude for like 7 hours. Like, it wasn't really talking about it, because I really, honestly, this was my early 30s. I really didn't have that great capacity. I had just become a therapist, so I really couldn't do it. So my therapist said, let me ask you a question. Does Vic ever express anger towards you? And I said, no, he does not. And she said, why do you think that is? And I said, well, I think that, because my husband was a widower when we met, was raising 3 young teenage sons alone. And I said, I think because, it was a big package with the boys and living in Jersey. And I think he's really psyched to have a partner in this, and he doesn't want to do anything to like rock the boat. But then, of course, I was already a therapist, even though I had just become one. Obviously I knew enough to know that there's no possible way that you can be in a long-term relationship with someone that you spend a ton of time with and never have them get on your nerves and never be annoyed with them. That is absolutely impossible, but I hadn't thought about it. And she said, okay, well, I have a theory. Because it's impossible that he would never, ever be annoyed with you or mad at you about anything, it's like he's disavowing his feelings. So he can't even bear to admit those feelings to himself because they're too threatening. So it's like when he does something, and think about this in your own life, when someone does something that they know for sure is going to provoke a negative response from you, it's not like it's new. Anytime he would make me late, he knew I was going to be furious. Like, he knew it. So she's like, don't you think that's odd that the person would keep doing it? I'm like, but there's got to be a reason. And she's like, well, there is. So his disavowed anger, imagine that, like, this is the anger, like your fist is your anger, and you chop it off. And then it's like taking that anger and sort of shoving it down the other person's throat. So what would happen is Vic couldn't directly express anger. So by making me late and having me get crazy, it's like I was expressing my own anger, but I was also expressing his anger at me that he had disavowed. And I know that sounds complicated, but when you get it, you're like, oh, that understanding changed my life. So I say to him, hey, Bev thinks that this might be happening with us with time. And he's like, wait, she thinks that I'm passively, aggressively being late, so you'll be mad, so I'll feel satisfied? Like, I don't get it. I don't think so. And Vic has had a lot of therapy, but he was sort of like, maybe, we'll see. So I thought to myself, well, I'm going to have to do this experiment on my own. So we were going to a wedding, and this would be a perfect setup. The wedding was like 2 hours away. I wanted to leave at like ridiculous o'clock because I wanted to make sure that we were in the front row at the service. Like, I would never go to a wedding and miss the service, like, unless I was abducted by aliens. That would literally never happen. So I thought we needed to be in the car by noon. That would be fine. And I think the thing was starting at like 2:30 or whatever. Now I'm fully dressed in what I'm wearing to the wedding. And this was the day I was doing my experiment. I just made a commitment to myself with my therapist. No matter what happened on this day, I would not get angry about time. That I was going to work on my own need to be so early, because that is a disordered relationship to time too, driven by fear, driven by control, driven by anxiety. And I was going to let this play out and see if I could then get Vic to see what I was talking about. It's 11 o'clock. We need to leave at 12. I'm fully dressed, having a cup of tea, makeup done, hair done. I'm ready to go. And he says, I'm just jumping out quick to Home Depot. Has that ever been a quick run to Home Depot? Anyone? Have you ever been there? It never is. Anyway, and I'll be right back. And instead of trying to avoid the conflict I knew was coming, I was like, okay. So I think I meditated for that hour straight because I literally did know what was coming. He comes back at 12 o'clock, which is the time we had agreed we'd be in the car. And he's doing his same dance, being like, oh my God, I got behind someone who was going really slow. Like, I don't even know, I was trying. And keep in mind, there's wood on the friggin' car. So now he's got to take the wood off the car, get in the shower. I was like, okay. So I was not taking the bait though, right? Because I had decided I'm not going to express your anger for you. If you're angry at me, you will have to say so because it doesn't feel good. And I'm going to manage my own boundaries to time. So he's doing the dance, being like, I can't believe it. And I'll really hurry, whatever. And I was like, I kept saying, hey, baby, it's no problem. Your tux is up there already. Everything is hanging up. You're good to go. Like there's not a problem. I was so not mad and not acting mad, but like he was doing the old dance. He couldn't get that it was fine. So then he's looking at me kind of odd, but he goes upstairs, gets changed, whatever. And we leave a half an hour later than I had planned that we would. But I was already resolved that this was an outside wedding, that if we came in late, nobody would even notice. And I could sit in the back and it wouldn't be the end of the world if I wasn't in the front row and a half an hour early. It wouldn't be like the world would keep going. Like everything would be fine. So in the car, he's like, I'm surprised you're not mad. And I said, Vic, I made a commitment to myself. It's hard enough for me. I've got my own complicated relationship to anger, my own anger. There is no way in hell I'm spending the rest of our life together expressing your anger. I'm not. So I do believe that what Bev said has merit. And I want to know if you will partner with me on figuring this out together. And he was like, yep. And that was how we did it. We did a couple of therapy sessions together about it, but it really helped that I changed my mind, right? I changed my frame and stopped being so controlling around that, which was actually incredibly helpful. And he also really made an effort, and we came up with affirmations to share together and gave each other permission. Like he could remind me, hey, babe, we always have more than enough time, right? Because I would get anxious, and we did always have more than enough time. I just normally wanted us to be there ridiculously early. Anyhow, that was the longest way around the barn to get to. We both had disordered time boundaries, and that can negatively impact the relationship. And if that therapist had not helped me understand what was actually going on, we might still be arguing about time today. We've been together 25 years and we do not even talk about it anymore because it is totally a non-issue. Anyway, what other ways are these time boundaries that are disordered expressed? I would say literally having your days packed, right? Thinking that you can do more. So I just call this overschedulers, right? Where you think that you can do more than you can actually do. Also, it could be that you're a procrastinator. And that can be a lot of things makes us procrastinate. It could be anxiety. It could also be there are other mental health challenges like ADHD. There's lots of reasons why managing time effectively can be super duper challenging. Another thing that can cause us to have disordered time boundaries is what we witnessed, what we saw growing up in our family of origin. So if you saw that in your family, and this can go many ways. If you had a parent, I had a client who had a parent that when she was growing up, her mother always made her late to things. She was so angry about it, even as a little kid, and was so unempowered to do anything about it. And she's very timely. She's not late. And so that is one way where you go the opposite way of what you experienced because you hated it so much. Then there are many people who, if it was, let's just say it was their maternal impactor, who was the one who was always late and holding up the rest of the family, that they see that as a part of, they are literally mirroring this modeled behavior and not even questioning it. Having the same fights that she saw, right? If you had a maternal impactor who made you late, but you're the one who's actually doing that. So it's dysfunctional. Okay, so we got that part. But here's the thing. there's a lot of judgment, especially from people who are very timely and in professional settings, right? If I have a meeting with someone and they're late, I'm already don't want to work with them. I don't even care what they're doing. Unless they have a really good reason. And I'm talking about 2 minutes, a minute. I say to myself, wow, this is what I can expect. There will be more of this bullshit behavior that I can't stand. And it feels very disrespectful to me. Whatever the person's reasons are, that's their reasons. And it's also my choice to expect the people in my professional world to also be professional. You might be amazing, maybe the best of the best. But if you have this issue of always running late and you are going into meetings and shaking people's hands, sweating, being like, I'm so sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I'm late. I'm sorry I kept you waiting. You are literally starting that meeting. You have already put yourself in the one down position. You have done that to yourself. No one else has done that to you. You have done that to you. And it is worthwhile to look at the reasons. And I think that it also is valuable to look at the physical, biological, psychological reasons that we can have trouble with time. And what are things you can do if you have ADHD? Are there things that you can do to make it better for you, or to talk to the people in your world where if everyone else has to be at work at 8:00, that you say your start time is 7:30 if you know you're going to be late? Because that's real. That's not laziness. That's not lack of effort. That can be a real psychological, emotional block that keeps you there. You don't want to be perceived as incompetent or rude if that isn't your thing. You don't want to be so overscheduled in your life that you can't breathe. Think about it. It's really the minutia of our day that makes up the quality of our life. Yeah, peak experiences too. But really, it's our day-to-day life. And have you thought about a way that you can build time in to your day so that you can breathe? I'm going to give you about 3 or 4 steps that you can take to create a more balanced relationship with time, and a couple of questions that you can answer so you can understand your own sort of time blueprint. Because we do all have reasons to relate to time the way that we do, and understanding them makes it so much easier to change it. Because when you really think about it, time itself is a construct in our mind. What was required of me to change the way that I related to time is I needed to change my mind about how much time I needed to get to places, because I always quadrupled the amount of time rather than halving the amount of time, like for folks who are usually late. And that took a minute to do it, but it was worth doing it. And of course, I was motivated to do it because I didn't want to be fighting with my husband all the time about time, because it just seemed so dumb when we could actually talk about what's really on your mind. Because it's not about you making me late, it's something else. So I know that was a lot. You can get the guide with some of those questions at terricole.com/guide. I hope that this added value to your life. And I want to know, what are your time boundary issues? Do you have any? What are they? Let me know what you think. Tag me on Instagram, put it in your story. I will repost it. And you can drop your questions right here or anywhere on the interweb where you see me. So I hope you have an amazing week. And as always, take care of you. Wait a minute. Are you still here? All right. That means you are really serious about getting it together with your boundaries, or you really like the sound of my voice. One or the other. Either way, I love it. And if you want to work on your boundaries, I have a special offer for you. In the past, my Boundary Bootcamp course cost $997. But when you join my new offering, which is the Terri Cole membership, it's included in the price of $59 a month. Or you can do a one-time payment of $590 for the entire year. And that gives you 2 months for free. In addition to Boundary Bootcamp, you get 4 live calls a month with me, access to my other signature programs, and oh my God, so much more. Just go to terricole.com/TCM for more information.